When a man truly misses you, silence becomes his loudest confession. He might not text you, he might not call, and he might not say it outright, but you'll feel it in the smallest, quietest moments. You'll notice it in how he lingers online when you post something, in how he reacts to your presence without ever saying a word, in how he still finds ways to exist around your energy. That silence isn't emptiness. It's filled with emotions he's trying to understand, feelings he's wrestling with, and words he doesn't yet know how to say. Men process emotions differently. For many, vulnerability doesn't come easy. They're taught to stay strong, to stay in control, to avoid showing too much. So when a man misses you, it always trade into direct communication. Instead, it leaks out in quiet gestures. Revisiting old pictures, scrolling through your messages, replaying your laughter in his head. That's not indifference, it's longing disguised as restraint. He's feeling everything deeply but expressing it silently. Sometimes he'll go through his day trying not to think about you, yet every little thing reminds him of you. The cafe where you once sat together, the movie you both laughed over, the song that randomly plays and brings back a memory. He won't admit it, but those moments hit him harder than he expected. And while you may think he's moved on or doesn't care, he's there, silently reliving the memories that tie him to you. Missing someone doesn't always mean reaching out. Sometimes it means sitting in the quiet, wrestling with emotions that words can't fix. There's pride in that silence too. For many men, missing someone openly feels like surrender, like admitting they've lost control. So they hide it behind silence. They act strong, keep busy, convince themselves they're fine. But when the world gets quiet, when the noise of their routine fades, your absence becomes loud. That's when missing you hits hardest. Not in the middle of the day when distractions exist, but late at night when there's nothing to drown out the ache. He might not pick up the phone, but he's thinking of you, wondering if you're okay, wondering if you miss him too. You can see it in the hesitation. The times he types a message and deletes it, the times he almost calls but doesn't. Those moments of indecision are full of emotion. They're not weakness, they're proof that he still cares, but doesn't know how to show it without exposing too much of what's inside. Silence becomes his armor. It's his way of holding on without appearing to. He's not ignoring you. He's protecting his pride while missing you in ways that words could never express. Actions reveal what words conceal. Maybe he starts liking your posts again. Maybe he shows up somewhere you both used to go. Maybe he checks in through mutual friends. Each of those small actions is a whisper, a silent acknowledgement that you still matter. Some people mistake that for manipulation, but often it's just a man trying to bridge the distance without losing his dignity. Silence doesn't mean there's no emotion. Sometimes it means there's too much. If you pay attention, you'll see the contradiction in him. He's trying to act unbothered while everything about him says otherwise. His silence becomes a performance. One where he's pretending not to care, hoping you'll believe it even though deep down he doesn't. But the eyes never lie. The way he looks at you if you meet again, the way his tone softens when your name comes up, that's where the truth lies. He might not speak it, but it's there, written in every glance and every pause. The truth is, men often feel emotions more intensely than they admit. They just process them differently. Privately, internally, quietly. They'll replay moments in their mind over and over, analyzing what they could have done differently. They'll tell themselves to move on, but find themselves comparing every new person to you. That's how you know he misses you. Not because he tells you, but because no one else seems to replace the space you left behind. Silence can also be his way of testing reality, seeing if you'll notice his absence, if you'll reach out, if you'll care enough to break the distance. It's not always a game. Sometimes it's fear. Fear that reaching out might hurt more than staying silent. Fear that you've already moved on. Fear that the person he misses so deeply might not feel the same anymore. So he waits quietly, hoping you'll understand what his words can't convey. But silence also has a strange power. It reveals who truly matters. Because when someone is gone and their absence still echoes, that's not chaos, that's emotional gravity. Missing someone silently means they've become a part of you, not through constant contact, but through the deep, unshakable bond of memory. You don't need to hear from them every day to know they care. Sometimes the quiet connection is stronger than the loudest declarations. If he misses you, you'll feel it even without communication. You'll catch it in moments when your intuition whispers his name for no reason. When you sense that pull, that unseen connection, that's energy at work. Emotional bonds don't vanish because of silence, they often grow in it. The quieter the world gets, the louder the heart speaks. Missing someone silently doesn't make him cold or distant. It makes him human. It shows that he's navigating the complexity of emotion, love, pride, fear, longing, all tangled together. And when he finally does reach out, it won't be out of impulse, it'll be from a place of sincerity, because silence has a way of revealing what truly matters. The time he spent missing you in silence is the time he spent realizing your value. So don't mistake his silence for a lack of care. Look deeper. Pay attention to what isn't said. The quiet can tell you everything. When a man misses you but doesn't say it, he's still showing it in patience, in subtle gestures, in the way he can't fully move on. His silence is filled with meaning, with emotion, with the ache of what once was. It's not indifference. It's unspoken love. And that's the thing about silence. It's not the absence of sound, it's the presence of feeling. It's where the truth hides when words fall short. When a man misses you, he'll show it silently. Through his eyes, his energy, his hesitation, his memories. You just have to listen differently. Because sometimes the heart speaks loudest when the mouth stays still. When a man misses you, his words might be few, but his energy tells the truth. You can feel it in the way he looks at you, in how his presence changes when you're around, in how he suddenly becomes more intentional, even if he doesn't realize it. The energy between two people never lies. Words can be manipulated, actions can be delayed, but energy, that subtle, invisible current that connects hearts, it always tells the story. When a man misses you, that energy becomes softer, more attentive, more magnetic. He may not announce it, but you'll sense it before he says a word. When he's around you, his guard drops slightly. He may still act calm, collected, or even distant, but underneath that surface, there's a storm of emotions he's trying to keep under control. His energy gives him away. It's in the way he pays attention to the details, how you laugh, how you move, what you say. Even in a crowded room, you'll catch his eyes finding you just for a second longer than they should. That's not coincidence. That's emotion trying to speak through silence. Men often communicate emotionally through presence rather than words. When he misses you, his presence becomes intentional, even if it's subtle. He might start showing up where you are, or you'll notice him reaching out casually under the guise of something small. Maybe to ask about something random, to check on you, or to share a memory. It's his way of saying, you're still on my mind. But he won't always say it directly, because missing someone puts him in a vulnerable position, and most men aren't comfortable showing that softness. So instead, they let their energy do the talking. When a man misses you, his vibe changes. He becomes more alert when you're around, more focused on you even without meaning to. His tone softens, his laughter feels different, his attention sharpens. Sometimes he won't even realize he's doing it, but you'll notice it. The small ways he tries to reconnect without crossing his own emotional boundaries. It's not always about grand gestures. Often it's the quiet consistency of being present, of making sure you still feel his energy, even from a distance. That's how emotional connection works. It doesn't fade overnight. It lingers. It hums beneath the surface, alive even in the quiet. When he misses you, you might feel it unexpectedly, a random thought about him, a moment where his name crosses your mind for no reason, or a sudden wave of emotion. That's energetic connection. Two people who have shared emotional intimacy remain connected even when they're apart. His missing you isn't just a mental state, it's an emotional vibration that reaches you in ways you can't logically explain. His actions will align with that energy too. Maybe he starts remembering things you once told him, your favorite song, a place you wanted to visit, a quote you loved. He'll bring it up in conversation or subtly reference it to remind you that he listens, that he still carries pieces of you with him. That's how missing someone shows up in masculine energy, through awareness, attention, and presence. Men who miss someone often express it not through confession, but through small acts of remembrance. When you've had a real emotional connection with someone, your energy changes around them, and his will too. If he's trying to suppress his feelings, he might act distant, but even that distance is charged. You'll feel it in the pauses, in the glances, in the things he doesn't say. You'll sense a quiet tension, the kind that comes from unspoken words. That's what happens when someone misses you, but is afraid to admit it. They hold it in, but it spills out through energy anyway. You might notice him being more thoughtful in his interactions with you. Maybe he compliments you in a way he never did before, or asks deeper questions, or listens more intently. That's because missing you makes him pay attention. It makes him value your presence more. Absence creates appreciation, and when he finally has a moment near you again, his energy carries the weight of everything he's felt during that distance. He may not even understand why he's acting differently, but it's because missing someone shifts how you see them. Energy doesn't lie, and when someone truly misses you, it changes how they show up, even unintentionally. If he used to be playful and now seems quieter, more reflective, that's emotion. If he used to be distant and now seeks small ways to connect, that's emotion. Every movement, every glance, every change in tone is part of his unspoken confession. He's saying, I still care, without ever needing to put it into words. Sometimes when two people share a strong emotional bond, they can feel each other's energy even across distance. You might think of him just as he's thinking of you. You might dream about him or feel a sudden emotional shift without knowing why. That's what it means when people say energy connects souls. Missing someone isn't just a feeling, it's a pull, an invisible thread that tugs between hearts. He may be miles away, but when he misses you deeply, that energy reaches you. The beautiful thing about emotional energy is that it reveals truth even when people try to hide it. You'll know when someone is faking indifference because their energy won't match their words. A man who misses you might say he's fine, but you'll sense the hesitation in his voice, the warmth in his eyes, the slight sadness when your name comes up. You'll feel the contradiction. And that's how you know his emotions are still there. When he misses you, his energy becomes protective too. Even if you're not together, he might check in subtly, making sure you're okay or showing concern if he hears something about you. That's not control, that's care. It's him trying to stay connected in the only way he feels safe doing so. You see, when men miss someone, they often want to make sure that person is still okay. Not because they want to intrude, but because they can't help but care. He might also become more supportive of you from afar, watching your growth, celebrating your wins silently, being proud of you even if he can't say it. That's one of the purest signs of missing someone, when they still root for your happiness, even from a distance. That kind of energy doesn't fade, it matures. It's no longer about possession, it's about genuine connection. The truth is, when a man misses you, you won't always see it, but you'll always feel it. His energy will speak volumes. His presence will feel familiar yet different, heavier with emotion, warmer with meaning. You'll notice him showing up when you least expect it, in the smallest ways, trying to stay close without appearing needy. That's his way of saying, you still matter to me. Energy is the most honest language in love. It can't be faked or forced. When he misses you, you'll feel it in your intuition, in your heart, in that quiet moment when everything feels still but your soul knows something, or someone is thinking of you. That's the beauty of silent connection. No words, no noise, just a deep knowing. So when you sense that change in his energy, that extra care in his voice, that longer look, that softer tone, don't doubt it. That's what it looks like when a man misses you. Not through words, not through dramatic gestures, but through the quiet power of his energy. It's his heart's way of saying what his pride won't let his mouth confess. Distance doesn't always mean disinterest. Sometimes it's just silence misunderstood. When a man pulls away, when he stops calling, when he doesn't reach out as much, it's easy to assume he's moved on. But the truth is often far more complex. Sometimes he's not gone because he stopped caring. He's gone because he cares too much and doesn't know how to handle the weight of what he feels. Missing someone in silence can be a man's way of protecting himself from vulnerability, rejection, or the fear that expressing emotion will make him appear weak. But inside, he's wrestling with the same ache that you are. Men are often taught from a young age to suppress emotion, to stay strong, to hold it in, to not need anyone. So when he starts to miss someone deeply, that longing conflicts with everything he's been conditioned to believe. The desire to reach out is strong, but the instinct to stay composed is stronger. That's why sometimes when he misses you, he doesn't run towards you. He retreats. It's not that he doesn't care, it's that caring so much feels overwhelming. He's trying to process emotions that don't fit the rules he's lived by. When a man misses you but stays quiet, it's often because he's stuck in a battle between heart and pride. His heart wants to talk, to reconnect, to know you're okay. But his pride says, don't be the first to reach out, don't look weak, don't open the door to rejection. So instead he waits. He convinces himself that maybe you'll reach out first, maybe you'll make the move. Meanwhile, he's checking your social media, wondering where you are, who you're with, and whether you think him too. That silence isn't emptiness. It's noise inside his mind, full of what-ifs and unfinished sentences. You might not see it, but when he misses you, he carries you in small ways throughout his day. He might drive past a place you both used to go and feel a pang of nostalgia. He might hear your favorite song and pause for a second longer. He might catch himself smiling at a memory that used to annoy him but now feels precious. Those are all moments of missing you. Private, quiet, and deeply human. Distance gives him space to remember not just what you shared, but who he was when he was with you. And that's the thing. Missing someone silently isn't a sign of detachment. It's often a period of reflection. When he steps back, he's replaying everything, the laughter, the arguments, the goodbyes. He's asking himself what went wrong, what he could have done differently, and whether he should try again. Sometimes he distances himself to understand his own emotions better. He's not ignoring you. He's trying to figure out if what he feels is love, habit, or longing. That silence is where he's searching for answers. But silence also hurts him. He might act fine, tell his friends he's over it, distract himself with work or social life. But every quiet night, when there's no noise left to fill the gaps, he feels the void. That's when your name echoes in his thoughts. That's when he wonders if you miss him too. Men are good at pretending they've moved on, but you can always tell when they haven't. They avoid the subject of you altogether. They deflect when someone brings up your name. They act indifferent, but deep down, they're still holding on. Distance doesn't mean he doesn't think about you. It means he's trying to stop, but can't. It means he's trying to convince himself that staying away is the right thing. Maybe because he believes you're happier without him, or maybe because he thinks it's too late to fix things. Missing someone silently is a kind of emotional restraint. He's trying to protect both of you, himself from pain and you from confusion. It's not that he doesn't care, it's that he cares quietly, carefully in a way that doesn't disturb your peace. Sometimes men miss you but stay away because they think they're doing you a favor. Maybe they hurt you before, and now they believe their absence is the best apology. Maybe they're afraid that if they come back, they'll repeat the same mistakes. So they love you from afar, holding on to memories while convincing themselves that distance is better. It's a bittersweet kind of missing, one that feels noble on the outside, but painful on the inside. There's also fear in silence. Fear that you've changed, that you've moved on, that the version of you he remembers no longer exists. He might check your profile 100 times, but never hit like. He might type a message and delete it before sending. He might hover over your name in his contacts, reading old conversations, wondering if reaching out would make things better or worse. That's how distance hides emotion. Behind screens, hesitation and pride. But the feeling doesn't fade, it just gets quieter, heavier. Real emotional connection doesn't disappear with distance. If what you shared was genuine, it lives in both of you. Whether you speak or not, you'll feel it randomly. An unexpected memory, a flash of nostalgia, a sense of longing that comes without reason. That's the energy of someone missing you silently. It's invisible but powerful, because emotional bonds don't break easily, they stretch. And even across distance, that connection hums quietly, reminding both of you that something real existed. When a man truly misses you, distance becomes a teacher. It teaches him the value of what he lost. It humbles him. It makes him realize that the things he took for granted were the ones that mattered most. Maybe he used to scroll past your messages, now he reads them like poetry. Maybe he used to roll his eyes at your habits, now he misses them deeply. Time apart has a way of softening ego and clarifying truth. If he's quiet, it's not always disinterest. Sometimes it's realization unfolding slowly. And sometimes silence is simply love's waiting room. He might be working on himself, trying to become the kind of man who deserves another chance. He might be rebuilding his confidence before he faces you again. Growth often happens in the silence, in the spaces where he's forced to confront who he is without you. Missing you silently doesn't mean he's lost. It means he's finding himself again, one thought of you at a time. But it's important to remember that silence also tells you something, not just about him, but about where you both are. If he's missing you but not reaching out, that's his journey to take. You don't have to chase silence or decode it. Let his distance reveal what it needs to. If it's meant, he'll find his way back, not through guilt or pressure, but through genuine clarity. Real love doesn't need noise to survive. It grows even in quiet, even in absence. So when you find yourself missing someone who's gone silent, don't rush to fill the space. Understand that silence has meaning. Sometimes it's avoidance, sometimes it's healing, sometimes it's love that hasn't yet found the courage to speak. If he truly misses you, he feels your absence just as deeply as you feel his. The difference is he's trying to manage it in his own way, through distance, reflection, and quiet endurance. Because for some men, silence isn't the absence of emotion. It's the only way they know how to love without falling apart. When a man truly misses you, he doesn't always chase after you with words or grand gestures. Sometimes he goes silent, he withdraws, and he reflects. Not every man reacts to loss or distance by running after what he's lost. The more mature he is, the more likely he is to step back and think. A man who genuinely feels your absence won't waste time in emotional games or ego battles. He won't text you just to provoke a reaction or post things to make you jealous. Instead, he'll retreat into himself and try to understand what happened, because missing someone deeply forces self-reflection. When he stops reaching out, it's not always detachment. Sometimes it's introspection. He's not ignoring you. He's analyzing the situation, replaying moments, questioning his choices, and wondering what could have been done differently. A real man, one who values connection, doesn't run from emotion, he studies it. He tries to make sense of his feelings rather than act impulsively on them. He might appear distant, but that distance is where his transformation begins. This kind of silence can feel confusing, especially if you're someone who expresses love openly. You might think he doesn't care anymore, but he's probably feeling more than he ever has. He's just processing it differently. While you may be crying, talking to friends, or writing about it, he's quiet, replaying every word, every look, every small mistake. He's trying to figure out where things went wrong and whether he can fix them. This is how men who value growth handle loss, not with noise, but with reflection. The immature chase impulsively, the mature reflect intentionally. A boy reacts to emotion by running back too quickly, often for comfort, not commitment. But a man sits with the discomfort. He lets it teach him. He reflects on the kind of partner he was, the effort he gave, the words he spoke or withheld. He learns through silence what he couldn't see through noise. That's why when he misses you but doesn't rush to call, it might not be because he's done. It might be because he's learning who he needs to become before he can come back. Reflection is the real form of missing someone. It's easy to say, I miss you. It's harder to sit alone and ask yourself, why do I miss her? What does that say about me? What did I take for granted? That's the kind of missing that leads to growth. He's not looking to fill a void temporarily. He's figuring out why that void exists in the first place. This is what separates genuine longing from emotional dependency. When he's in that stage of reflection, he's becoming more aware of himself, of you, of the kind of love he truly wants to build. You might notice that during this phase, he doesn't seek new distractions. He's not chasing someone else or pretending he's fine. Instead, he becomes quieter, more focused on work, more inward. That's his way of healing. He's learning to sit with the weight of missing you, using it as fuel to improve himself. Maybe he realizes he could have communicated better. Maybe he recognizes he let pride ruin something pure. Missing someone can be painful, but for a self-aware man, that pain becomes a mirror. He sees who he was, and he starts to reshape who he wants to be. This silence also means he's respecting your journey. A real man doesn't intrude just because he misses you. He doesn't show up to disturb your peace or to make himself feel better. If he truly cares, he lets you breathe, lets you heal, and gives you space. That takes strength, because missing someone silently is one of the hardest things to do. It means choosing respect over impulse, growth over comfort. He may want to call you every day, but he doesn't because he knows that timing matters more than emotion. He understands that coming back too soon, without clarity, without change, would only repeat old patterns. So he reflects, he looks back at his behavior. He remembers how you made him feel and how he made you feel. He questions his reactions. The times he shut down instead of communicating, the times he let ego speak louder than love. Missing you pushes him to confront his flaws. It humbles him. It teaches him empathy, patience, and the importance of presence. This kind of reflection can transform if he allows it to. Because missing someone is not just about wanting them back, it's about realizing why you want them back and what needs to be different this time. If he's meant to return, he'll do it with purpose, not desperation. You'll notice the difference instantly. He won't just say, I miss you. He'll say, I understand now. He won't make excuses. He'll take accountability. He won't promise perfection. He'll show effort. That's the evolution that happens when a man chooses reflection over reaction. Time apart teaches him the value of what he lost, the importance of communication, and the courage it takes to love maturely. But sometimes his reflection leads to acceptance instead of return. And that's growth too. Sometimes missing someone teaches you to appreciate what was without needing to reclaim it. A man who reflects deeply might realize that the relationship ended for reasons that still stand. Maybe it wasn't the right time, or maybe he wasn't ready. He might miss you profoundly, but instead of chasing, he honors the memory. He carries what he learned into the next chapter of his life. That's not indifference. That's emotional maturity. Real men don't play with emotions. They learn from them. When they miss someone, they don't chase out of loneliness. They reflect out of love. That reflection creates peace, even if reconciliation never happens. It helps him grow into someone who loves more consciously next time. Missing someone silently, but using that silence to become better is one of the most powerful transformations a man can go through. It turns pain into purpose. And for you, that silence teaches something too. It teaches patience, acceptance, and faith in timing. You start to realize that if someone is for you, reflection will bring them back, not as the same person, but as someone wiser. And if they don't return, that silence was meant to protect your peace. Because reflection doesn't always end in reunion. Sometimes it ends in understanding. When a man misses you silently, he's not just longing for you, he's growing through you. You became his mirror, his lesson, his catalyst for change. The quiet is where he finds the answers his pride once drowned out. And whether or not he ever says it, you'll always be the reason he learned what real connection feels like. Because the real ones don't chase blindly, they pause, they grow, and if love is true, they come back different. So if you find yourself wondering why he hasn't called, remember this silence isn't always absence. Sometimes it's reflection. Sometimes it's healing. Sometimes it's a man learning how to love better, starting with himself. You'll know when a man misses you. Not because he says it, but because you feel it. The connection between two hearts doesn't vanish just because words stop flowing. When something real existed between you and lingers in the air, in the energy, in the moments that seem to whisper his name, even when you're not trying to think of him. That's the quiet truth about missing someone. It doesn't always show up in messages or calls. It reveals itself in the unspoken ways, in how his energy shifts when you're near, in how his eyes soften when they find you again. When a man truly misses you, there's an invisible pull, something that connects both of you even in silence. He doesn't need to say, I miss you. You can sense it. It's there in how his attention lingers and how his body language changes around you. The way he listens a little more intently, the way he slows down when he sees you, the way he hesitates before walking away, all of it says more than any words could. Emotion is a language of its own, and when a man feels deeply, that language speaks through presence, not promises. Words are easy. They cost nothing. But energy doesn't lie. When someone misses you, their energy carries your name. They think of you when they wake up, when they're driving, when something reminds them of a shared memory. That's not obsession. That's emotional residue. It's what happens when someone leaves a mark on your soul. You'll sense it even when you're apart. There will be moments when your heart suddenly feels heavy or when your thoughts drift to him without reason. Those are small spiritual echoes, reminders that the connection still exists, even across distance. Men aren't always vocal about their emotions. Many struggle to express what they feel, not because they don't care, but because they were never taught how to articulate vulnerability. So when a man misses you, he might not say it, he'll show it. He'll remember the small details, the things you love, the jokes you shared, the dreams you spoke of. He'll ask about your life indirectly through mutual friends or subtle check-ins. He'll show up in places where he knows you might be, not to force a conversation, but just to feel your presence again. That's his version of saying, I still think about you. And then there are the eyes, the most honest storytellers of all. Eyes reveal what the mouth hides. When you meet him again, you'll see it instantly. That look, The one that lingers a moment too long is full of everything he hasn't said. The longing, the regret, the warmth, the questions. The words can lie, but eyes never the truth of the soul. And if he truly misses you, his eyes will speak before he does. You'll see the softness in his gaze, the tension in his body, the quiet hesitation in his smile. That's the language of missing someone without words. You might also notice how he remembers the small things that even you forgot. Maybe he brings up a song you once played in the car or references a random moment from years ago. That's not coincidence, that's memory born from emotion. People only hold on to details when they mean something to them. His mind keeps revisiting those fragments of time because they remind him of how he felt when he was with you. And it's not about nostalgia alone, it's about the comfort, the connection, the sense of belonging he once felt and now silently craves again. When a man misses you, he often carries that feeling in quiet strength. He doesn't beg for attention, he doesn't demand your time. Instead, he lets the emotion live inside him. That's not pride, that's love trying to stay respectful. He doesn't want to burden you or disrupt your peace, so he chooses to miss you in private. He'll think of you when something good happens and wishing he could share it with you. And when something goes wrong, he'll miss your calm voice and how you used to understand him without words. That's how you know the connection was real, because even silence doesn't erase it. The truth is, the ones who miss you the most often say the least. They carry it quietly because they respect what was shared. They don't need to announce it to the world. Their missing you is sacred, something they hold close to the heart. And in that silence, they grow. They learn, they heal. Sometimes missing you teaches them things they never understood while you were near, how your patience mattered, how your laughter changed the energy of a room, how your love grounded them. That's the kind of realization that comes only in absence. You'll know he misses you without him saying it because his energy will find you again. It always does. Maybe he texts you after months just to check in. Maybe he crosses your path unexpectedly and the air feels different. Maybe you dream of him one night and the next day he calls. That's the unseen connection between souls that once shared something genuine. Time and space can't fully break it. It quiets, it softens, but it doesn't disappear. That's the power of emotional truth. It survives silence. If you pay attention, you'll also see how missing you changes him. Maybe he's calmer, more thoughtful, more mature when he speaks to you again. That's growth born from reflection. He's realized that real connection isn't about possession or control. It's about peace. So when he misses you now, it's not with desperation, it's with gratitude. He's learned to appreciate what was, even if it doesn't return the same way. And if fate gives him another chance, he'll approach you with intention, not impulse. Sometimes, though, he'll never say anything at all. He'll love you in silence, miss you in peace, and carry you quietly in his heart. Not because he's weak, but because he understands that love doesn't always demand to be acted on. Sometimes missing someone is enough. It's a reminder of what it means to feel deeply, to have shared something real in a world where most things are temporary. His silence then becomes his love letter, one written not with words, but with the energy he continues to send your way. You'll know he misses you when you catch him being kind in ways he never was before. When you see him living differently, treating others more gently, choosing peace over pride. That's your influence equine in his life. That's the imprint of your love teaching him long after you're gone. Because real love doesn't end when people part ways. It evolves and becomes understanding, compassion, growth. And even if you never meet again, a part of him will always carry what he learned from loving you. So when you wonder if he misses you, don't look for the text, the call, or the message. Look for the shift in his energy, his eyes, his silence. You'll feel it in your soul. You'll sense that invisible thread still connecting you. Because when a man misses you genuinely, it's not a loud cry, it's a quiet hum beneath the surface of everything he does. His life moves on, but the memory of you moves with it. Missing someone silently isn't weakness. It's one of the purest forms of love, because it's free of expectation. It doesn't demand anything in return. It simply acknowledges you mattered. You changed his life, even if you're no longer in it. And that truth, that gentle, wordless truth, will always find its way to you in glances, in energy, in those quiet moments when you both feel something without knowing why. That's how you know he misses you. Not through his words, but through the silence that still holds your name.